Anyway, what'd you do today?
Just did a lot of work today. Thank goodness that we had help today because I was not gonna stay late. I told them there's
Oh,
no
there
way
you
I'm
go.
staying late.
Good for you.
I did enough
Yeah.
staying late all last week, and then today I had to go in early anyway because the boss wasn't gonna be there. She says I need for you to open. I'm like, really, really?
Right?
I'm gonna be there at 7:45 instead of 8:30. I guess
Don't you love the workforce?
I do. I mean, this was a lot better
I
job
miss
though.
working sometimes, but then I realize
Hmm.
be thankful for what you're not missing. You know,
Right,
because
right,
it ain't the same workforce as when I was when working. Oh, those many years ago.
right. But the
You
thing
know.
is that I
Oh, guess
like to
what?
get good. What?
We're live.
Oh my goodness. Hello,
Yeah, we're we're
everyone.
we're yapping over here. There's people going, "The hell are they talking about?" You want to start this puppy?
Let's do it.
There you go. It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago. It's 7 p.m. in the Big Apple, and I am the Mad Dog. Mad Dog DeCipio, joined as I am each and every week on What's the Buzz, America's Best Podcast by Amelia, the mouth of the South Chapman. How are you, Amelia?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm fucking aggravated.
I knew you were going to say that. I was trying to
I
keep
am
cool because today was just,
aggravated.
uh, today.
Oh man, Mad Dog's on the air 10 seconds and he dropped an F bomb.
Oh,
This is what happens when you have a guest cancel out on you 30 minutes before airtime
I was dropping F bombs 30 minutes before the show was
and
on.
accuses you of being unprofessional.
Yes.
Unprofessional is canceling a fucking show
Hmm.
30 minutes before airtime. That, my
Yeah.
dear, is unprofessional.
Yes. Especially when you're like telling me why you're canceling the show. You're too detailed. I think that's very too much detailed of why you're canceling.
Well, no, and we're going to keep that. You're going to keep that.
Yes.
You're not going to erase that. You're going to keep
No.
that because I'm going to
Hmm.
shove it in her face one day.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were supposed to have book author Angie Fenimore tonight talk about her alleged, supposed near death experience, which she says happened. I have my doubts. And I was going to question her on it. And I told her so yesterday. I think what happened, quite frankly, is that Angie Fenimore got cold feet because she realized, oh, this guy knows stuff. He's going to
Hmm.
question me. Well, you know what? We do our research.
Yes.
I don't know if Pitbull told you that, but we do our research. Look, you're a wonderful guest for someone else, but I'll never have you here. Don't need you. Don't want you. All right.
Yeah.
That said, it's all I'm going to say about that book author. I will never mention her name on the show again.
Nope.
Anyway, but we are going to talk tonight about things of that nature that piss us the fuck off.
Yes.
Because tonight is our annual Mad Dog and Pitbull bullshit session. This is our venting rant. It says on our credits, radical rants and vicious vents. Well, guess what? Tonight, you're going to get rants and vents.
For the first
So,
one for the year, and I guarantee there's gonna be more this
there
year.
will be more. So, what's pissing you off tonight besides that?
The damn wrestling show, god damn it.
Well,
Sorry.
tell me why.
Well, I can't use ring the bell sound anymore. We can't say ring the bell. Thank you, fucking Vince McMahon. I hate you. That's what
The
makes me mad.
WW can if you don't know what Pitbull's talking about, let me
Well,
fill
I
everybody
can't say
in.
Vince McMahon anymore. Sorry. The idiot. Or
No,
the
you can. Oh, why are you going to be nice now? Since when?
No, I'm not gonna be nice now since we can't mention that man's name, but I'm gonna mention it. Vince McMahon. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. The WWE will not let us use the sound effect that says ring the bell because, get this one, folks, because it has Jim Ross's voice on it. Well, here's the problem with that. Jim Ross doesn't work for WWE. He works for AEW.
Yeah.
Okay. So either they're lying about maybe lying about using the ring the bell sound effect, or Jim Ross doesn't know about it. Well, I hope he's listening. I hope somebody gets this to him. I got news for you, brother. I can't use your voice, okay? 3 words, ring the bell. By the way, nobody owns the expression ring the bell, okay? In case there's a copyright lawyer or a trademark lawyer listening, nobody owns the expression ring the bell.
No.
Leon Barfield. Leon's with us. Leon's always
Hey,
got
Leon.
something to say. Vince McMafia. Yeah, he's a piece of
Okay.
shit. That's what he is.
Yep.
He's a piece of shit that's up to his eyeballs in fucking shit.
Right.
Now they're shitting on him like he did that poor girl. Unbelievable.
Yeah, because I mean, what are they going to get mad if I say ring the bell? I mean, are they going to get mad if I say it on the
Apparently, yeah. So don't say it.
show? Ring the damn bell? How's that?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? Here's the thing. It doesn't really matter. I mean, really, does it really matter?
Well, because we are back to Wrestling with the Future. It's going to be.
We are
happy about that. I really am.
We are back with. And I said I would never do it, but they say in wrestling they say never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never. What's up on What's the Buzz? Here's what's up on What's the Buzz. Wrestling with the Future's coming back.
It's back. It's always been there, and it's gonna always stay there. And we're happy about that. I'm happy about it because I knew it was always going to come back.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the show that that launched you, really.
Yeah, it launched a lot of our shows. A lot of the ones we have. It launched What's the Buzz because it's the parent of What's the Buzz. It launched a lot of the other shows that we had before as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, What's the Buzz? It came as a result of retiring Wrestling with the Future.
Right.
Now, Wrestling with the Future, for those of you who have been with me a long time, you know that's the flagship show.
Yes.
WWTF Radio is directly named after WWTF, Wrestling with the Future. That's what WWTF is. And so that station was born out of that podcast.
Yes.
And that's the station now that's heard around the world. We have listeners from China, Japan, England, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, Amsterdam, Canada, the U.S., Brazil, South America, around the world. I mean, every country has us. I think we're in 89 countries right now. I can't remember half of them.
Yeah, we thank every single one of you. Thank you so much for listening.
And we have an unprecedented number of radio stations and podcast platforms, and we're very proud of that.
Yes.
Hey, here he is. Speaking of, Jimmy Thunder from Parts Unknown.
Hey, Jimmy.
He's right now. He's in New Zealand. Okay, proving me right.
Yeah.
Jimmy's from New Zealand. There's a law firm in Chicago that's taking cases against victims. Oh, they're taking those shit for real?
Wow.
Are you aware? Did you hear? This is a new one to me, Amelia. There's a law firm in Chicago that's taking cases against Vince. Also, they're talking to the Ring Boys that were in the Ring Boy scandal. Oh, man, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that one. You guys, maybe some of you are too young to remember, but back... Oh, man, this was back in the 1980s and early 90s. There was a ring announcer. He was an African-American guy named Mel Phillips. great ring announcer, very exciting delivery. But Mel Phillips was, piddling the little boys.
Mm.
Somebody was getting him little boys. Interestingly, I don't want to say coincidentally, but I will. Coincidentally, at the time, Pat Patterson had also resigned. Now, were they connected? Who's to say? But I think it's just very strange timing. And Jimmy Thunder from Down Under, brother, thank you so much for Jeff the Ref. We're doing the Jeff the Ref show next week. I want you to join me, Thunder from Down Under. I want you to join me next week for the Jeff the Ref show.
Actually, isn't it on the 28th that we're doing this show?
Yeah, the next 28th. Week.
Yeah. And we're going to be
Wednesday, right? Yeah. Do I have the date right, Neil?
Yes, it should be the 28th. Because
you got me doubting myself here. Like,
it's because of him. It's because we have the show and I'm here and I want to thank him for that. I will say
thank you, Jeff the Ref. I'll tell you what, man. That guy. I've said this a million times. This kid, first of all, way too young. Way too young.
Mm-hmm.
This kid knew more about wrestling than I did, and that's saying something. Okay, that's saying something. Jeff was just I called him.
Mm-hmm.
I lovingly called him the Encyclopedia Britannica of wrestling, and he really was, because he was like a walking encyclopedia. This guy, he ate, he devoured, he consumed wrestling, and he told me he had something like some crazy number, like 5,000 wrestling magazines. Mm-hmm. I said, "Are you shitting me?"
I wouldn't doubt it.
He had a raspy voice. He goes, "No, I'm not. Nope, not for real. I got him."
Yep.
He goes, listen to Jeff the Ref's voice. Mm-hmm. He had this like gravelly voice. He sounded older than he was. He was a young guy.
Yeah, because I think
he was 42 when he passed. God rest his soul.
Because did you have like a show on where you say, like, tell me about this, okay, and then tell me about this other match and something like that? You kind of threw matches at him, and he tell you like,
yeah, we would talk about it. We would, we would do like what we called like a round robin, like a round table.
Yeah,
and I would throw. That's how the refs round table came about. And I would just throw matches, and we would like dissect them.
Yeah,
like review them and tear them apart, and who did what and all that. It was a lot of fun. Joining us on the Jeff the Ref show, very special guest, ladies and gentlemen. The very first guest I ever had on a podcast, filmmaker Mike Messier.
Oh, good. It'd be good to see him again.
There's only two things that Mike loves in life: wrestling and going to the movies.
Yes.
That's all he cares about. Wrestling and going to the movies. Because Mike is independently wealthy. I'll just tell the world that he's independently wealthy. He's a trust fund baby. So he's got money. You throw some this way, Messier, if you fucking want it.
Right. You could be a sponsor on our show.
You're in Florida. Drop it off to Amelia's house. I'll pick it
up. Yeah, he'll come by and pick it up. Say, here, delivery.
What? Would you what?
So here you go, delivery for your show.
Yeah, don't. In fact, you know what, Mikey? Don't deliver nothing to her, because I'll never see it.
Oh, come on.
It'll get lost in the mail.
No, it will never get lost in the mail.
Anyway, we have we were going to have a really great show tonight, but our guest pooped out on us, so Amelia and I are just going to bitch at each other. Well, let's talk about it. The wrestling is kind of on the subject. It's we're talking about it. What's new in the Vince McMahon case? What's going on with that?
I haven't really heard that much, other than basically his daughter is also going to be in hot water. Stephanie.
Who's Stephanie? What'd she do? What happened there?
When they went overseas, I think it was for a Christmas show. That one of the
Oh, is that the
girls,
one in Iraq?
yes,
Okay, what happened there?
and one of the girls was allegedly, because I'm gonna say allegedly, was one of the girls there that was allegedly raped, and Stephanie knew about it. And of course, they have a
She
lawsuit
knew
against
about it.
that. That's what they're saying. That one of the girls testifying that Stephanie knew about it,
She
and
knew. How would
it's
she know?
because she was
Did somebody
there as
tell
well.
her? Did the
Uh,
girl say something to her?
I believe so that she told her, and I guess she just slipped it under the rug.
Do you
And
know who it was?
yeah, it was. I think I had saved that here, so that way,
Yeah, tell me who it was so we can talk about
yeah.
this.
And also, they had said that Stephanie knew all about this, and I'm like, interesting. How funny that.
Oh,
Mm,
Ashley Messerose
yeah. Mm-hmm.
filed a
The
family
lawsuit.
a lawsuit against the.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Jimmy Thunder, on
Yeah.
that
Thank
one.
you. Yeah, she had filed a lawsuit, and then she said that Stephanie knew all about this, so both of the McMahons are going to be
Now
under hot
that
water.
young lady, if I'm not mistaken, and I think I remember this one.
Mm-hmm.
That young lady committed suicide. She hung
Yes,
herself.
yes, she did because of all of this. She couldn't handle the pressure anymore of this.
She was suffering from depression.
Yes.
She was
Mhm.
nobody would listen to her. They
Nobody
didn't do
listened to her.
anything about it,
Mm-mm.
and she ended up hanging herself.
Yes.
She pilled up, a bunch of pills,
Hmm.
and then hung herself.
Yes.
It's very, very sad. I mean, it's a
Very,
sad
very sad because something
situation.
like
But
that can
this is what
happen.
you're talking about. You're
Yeah.
talking about an organization that literally got away with murder for years.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah.
how much blood Vince has on his hand, but
Oh.
now it's finally
Hmm.
catching up to him.
Yep.
Finally catching up to the fact that he can't run anymore.
No.
He got caught,
Yep.
you
And
know.
the only good one,
I've
like you
done some
said,
shitty stuff in my life. I'll admit this, okay?
hmm
But I've never raped anybody. I've never
no,
shit on anybody.
no.
I've never given anybody a golden shower.
Hmm.
If somebody was mean to me, I was mean back. Okay,
Hmm.
okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, you slap my cheek, I'm going to slap yours.
Hmm.
Okay, but I mean, I didn't do nearly, not even close to the shit that Vinnie Mac did.
Yeah.
And his company, by the way. And not only him and his company, but his employees that got away with
Oh,
shit.
absolutely.
You know how
Yeah.
many
And
people were fired from that company for not keeping their mouths shut? If you opened up your mouth to the press, they fired you.
oh, right on the
Because they
spot.
live in their own little bubble, Amelia.
Hmm. Yeah.
They
And
live in their
also,
own little bubble, and it's
hmm
this cloistered world.
hmm
Jimmy Thunder can tell you.
yeah.
And Leon can tell you too. I know that they're
Mhm.
both watching.
Yeah, and the
You
only one
know,
that came out good, like you said, we were talking about that was Shane McMahon. He's the only one that is
Shane is the only.
living.
You're
Mhm.
absolutely right. He's the only one that was smart enough to get
Yes,
out and stay out.
exactly. And
And
now
I
his
think he got out because he saw the writing
yes,
on the wall.
yeah, he said, "I'm not going to be a part of this. I don't want him to be a part of this. I want to have my family and
Yeah,
live a normal life." And now his son it got accepted to North Carolina college, and
good
his
for
son's in
him.
football. Yeah,
Good
he
for
got.
him. You know what? I think Shane's probably going to end up being the smartest one in the crew.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
And
Stephanie did good by marrying Paul Levesque, Triple H.
mhm.
He's a smart. He's no dummy. This guy.
No, mm-mm,
Triple H is this. He's not just a musclehead. He's
no.
a smart musclehead.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
he's
and
got a
he
college education. He's a smart guy. He knows how to make money. He knows how to bring the business back.
mhm.
Um, Unfortunately for him, sadly for him, he's going to have to carry around Vince's shit for a little while till he
Oh,
gets rid
yes.
of it all.
Yeah, he said he's got a lot of cleaning up to do. A lot of cleaning up to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, including the fact that as Jimmy Thunder from Down Under says, he
Mhm.
got Jimmy Snuka off murder.
Yeah.
And that's a fact, folks. You can't argue with the facts.
Nope.
He took a briefcase full of money to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he left that briefcase full of money there. Okay. Somebody got the money. Okay. Somebody picked up the money, and all of a sudden, the Jimmy Snuka case went away until I don't know why he did it. Jimmy Snuka wrote a book, and he talked about that case in the book. He basically sealed his own fate
Yeah.
because he talked about the murder.
Mhm.
That murder case that he talked about opened it up again.
Yes.
And he ended up going back and forth to court, and he was about to go to jail when God was merciful and he died instead.
Yeah.
And he did not die, ladies and gentlemen, of stomach cancer like they want you to believe. I know this factually because Jimmy Snuka's wife was on this show and told us how Jimmy passed. He died from CTE. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And the good,
concussion syndrome.
and the good thing is you heard it right from her, not from anybody else, and you know that it was the truth. So
Absolutely. I know
yeah.
it's the truth. She was right here on the show,
Yeah.
talked about it.
hmm And sadly, too, is like we lose a lot of wrestlers for just horrible things. It's like to me, like
Hold
what?
on. I got to see what this
Sure.
formative. Thank you for your offer. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. But we're good.
hmm
We're good. I think we're good. Anyway, so
Yeah.
what else is going on, man?
Well, it's also that too, and then it's like one of my biggest thing is that I want to bitch about too is like if you're gonna say you're gonna be on our show, at least have the decency to tell me or a day or so before or anything like that. Don't give me a 30-minute notice. That's what pisses me off. I had a long day today and then getting that. And I was throwing the F bombs way before I even told you. I'm like, okay, he's gonna throw the F bomb, but I'm gonna throw it first.
Yeah, right.
And my son was like, "What's the matter, Mom?" I said, "Nothing. Nothing's fucking wrong." I said, "Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to throw it on you." I said, "But nothing's fucking wrong."
Jimmy Thunder. I heard this was coming. I heard this was coming, and I want to talk about this, Million.
Okay.
Brock Lesnar is being erased from WWE as well. He's in big trouble as well. There's rumors coming out that Warrior was poisoned. I've heard that.
Yes, I heard that
I
too.
heard that, and it's if you saw Warrior at the Hall of Fame on the very last, he died like a day and a half later.
Yeah, he was
He
like
came
real
to the
quick.
ring looking like he was drugged.
Mm-hmm.
There was something very wrong
Mm-hmm.
with Jim Hellwig.
Oh yeah, you could tell. Like even when I was like watching him, I was like, "There's something very wrong with him. He's not his usual self. He's not happy. Like how he would walk in the ring, all happy." I said, "That's not him at all." I said, "Either that somebody's
Nah,
trying to be him, or that's not him." Because
no,
the the one that I knew was not like him at all.
no.
Mm-mm.
No. He didn't even look
Mm-mm.
like himself.
No.
He looked bloated. He
Yes.
looked tired. He looked.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, and I'll be totally honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was drinking.
Yeah.
I thought the guy was drunk.
Yeah. He
I
looked
did.
like
I
he
thought
had.
he was drunk. I thought,
Mhm.
what's wrong with Warrior?
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh no, there's something else going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had heard that Warrior stuff before. That I knew. I knew that the Brock thing was coming.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they started to do that already.
Oh, they started already, I think, a week ago, and then they showed a picture of him hugging his daughter too. So if his daughter's probably interested in wrestling, ain't gonna happen no more.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what. That's how do you want to say this? It's in some case it's a vicious circle.
Mm-hmm.
The whole wrestling community, because let's be honest about it. A lot of these wrestlers that we see today are sons and grandsons, nieces and nephews of people that I saw growing up.
Right.
And it's a family thing. It's a very familial
Mm-hmm.
um relationship.
Right.
They'll take you for example. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. The Rock. Okay,
Right.
um, his father didn't want him to wrestle.
Right.
Rocky Johnson did not want Dwayne Johnson to wrestle,
No.
but he couldn't play football anymore because he injured himself playing football.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Okay, well, how am I going to make a living?" So I'll go into wrestling. Okay, so you're going to go into wrestling. Keep in mind now. Remember what I just said.
Right.
He hurt himself playing football, but he's going to wrestle instead, where
Hmm.
it's just as rigorous, it's just as strenuous, it's just as hard on the body, in some cases, more so
That's what I was gonna say. More.
than football.
Mhm.
So you're going to go into wrestling. Who got him into wrestling? Pat Patterson.
Mhm.
Here's that name again, Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson, as it turned out, ended up being one of the good guys, interestingly enough.
Hmm.
Um, Other comments from our chat room. Let's see. Um, Nobody else there. Okay, well, Jimmy's still there, I'm
Mhm.
sure. Leon, what happened to you, Leon? Did you
I
get
know, right? It got
banned?
quiet.
I think Leon got banned.
Uh-oh.
Yep, I think he did.
Uh-oh.
For tonight anyway. Um, but I mean, yeah, look, things happen in wrestling, okay?
Yeah.
But generally speaking, the people that you see, are relatives
Mm-hmm.
of other people.
Right.
It's very hard to break into pro wrestling. Um,
You have to know somebody that
yeah. I
basically.
mean, you see the people coming in NXT.
Yes.
Okay. Well, many of those people going in NXT have 8 to 10 years worth of experience.
Yes.
Well, if you already have experience wrestling, you're going to go to NXT where they're
No.
going to take everything you know and retrain you.
I they probably
Well, if
won't,
that's the
but
case, Amelia,
Mhm.
why did you pay $3,000 for wrestling school?
Right, exactly.
Or in some case,
Mm.
$5,000 for wrestling school.
Right. Unless you want to have a refresher course, but I mean the wrestling moves are still going to be the same.
Well, yeah,
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 nothing's gonna change unless you like rename it. But it's like, The Rock wants to get back into wrestling. Come on, you're a has-been. Let the other people get back in there. Let the other people learn. Let the new people, the newbies get in there.
yeah,
Let them have a chance. You're a
yeah,
has-been. You're
true.
done. You went into movies. You're done. It's over. You heard me?
Yeah.
I said it, The Rock. Okay, it's over. You're a has-been.
Um,
you
that's
know,
tough words, Amelia. Has been?
he's been for a wrestler. Yeah, he would.
A
He got
has
it.
been?
Yes.
Did they come out of your mouth a has been?
Oh,
Oh
I said
shit.
it. Yes.
She getting tough tonight, folks. I don't
I'm pissed off.
got the
Yeah. Because like a lot
damn,
of
that
people,
book author got you riled up tonight.
yeah, I mean, pisses me
Damn.
off telling us that shit. Sorry, but no sorry. But
Yeah,
another
I don't
thing
know what
too,
happened. Leon got banned. I'm trying to figure out why the hell
right?
Leon got banned.
And then another thing too, it's like, the Owen Hart situation. A lot of people think that they should have canceled the rest of the wrestling. A lot of people think, no, it should have continued. Like you said, it
Yeah,
was already halfway through. Somebody died. The wrestlers in the back
yeah,
didn't really want to continue, but like they say, a show must go on. But the family was upset that they continued, but that's understandable because that's the family. But you have, like you said, all this big arena filled with people, tickets. You had to continue.
Well,
But
I think I told you this before.
right.
I understand
Hmm.
really both sides of it.
Right.
I understand you've got a building full of people, 25,
Hmm.
28,000 people in that building, that it paid good money to see a show and something tragic happened.
Yes.
Now, there's two ways to look at it. You stay and you pray, hope for the best,
Yes.
or God forbid you find out that he passed away, and you do the best you can with what you got.
Right.
The other is okay, you give everybody their money back. Well, what are you really going to achieve by that?
Exactly.
Because don't forget, it was a pay-per-view.
Yes.
People at home were paying for this.
Hmm.
So we say, oh, well, they were greedy. They were greedy. I understand that argument, but the other part of the argument is a lot of people bought tickets and purchased pay-per-views for this event in good standing, in good faith, believing that it was going to be, a regular pay-per-view.
Right.
Nobody ever expected anyone to die,
No. And
especially falling from the ceiling,
yes.
you know,
And they
like
had
90 feet or whatever crazy it was,
and and I heard that they had wanted him to test the cables and everything like that before. He's like, no, no, everything will be fine. They should have done a test run before anything just to make sure. But things happen.
Listen to,
And
I heard this, actually, I actually heard this.
mhm.
The Rock now owns $30 million worth of shares in WWE. So
I
he's
would not.
trying to use his popularity to boost the company's worth, in my opinion. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. The biggest mistake they made, Jimmy, the biggest mistake they made, it's the fault of WWE and it's the fault of TKO Entertainment, allowing Dwayne Johnson to sit on the board.
Exactly.
Biggest mistake they made, because I was just getting back into wrestling. And that move cut me right the fuck off.
Yeah.
I will never watch another WWE programming again, ever.
I haven't watched it
Won't
in
do it.
over 7, 8 years.
The only stuff I'll watch is the old stuff
Yes.
from pre 85
Yes.
that they still have in like the archives.
Oh yeah, that's the best
I'll watch
ones.
that.
That's the only ones to watch because that's when wrestling was wrestling. That's
Yeah.
the
Well,
only time.
look, there's a lot of good wrestling out there.
Hmm.
There really is. I mean, I'm not going to discount it.
Oh yeah.
Is it as good as the days when I grew up? No.
No.
Are they more athletic today? Yeah.
Hmm.
But they're also a bunch of high flyers that take way too many risks.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, there's way too many.
Yeah.
And we rewatched the Iron Claw movie again last night because it's available now through if you have that little stick thing
Yeah,
for like
you can watch
Amazon.
the Iron Claw on a
Hmm.
bunch of streaming services now
Yeah.
that they're showing. We actually had a gentleman on the show that was involved with the movie,
Yeah.
James Beard, who knew the Von Erich family, who knew Gino Hernandez,
Hmm.
who knew Fritz Von Erich. He knew all these people.
Hmm.
And, he painted a very realistic picture of what it
Yeah.
was like. These boys were not Boy Scouts.
No, they were not.
They drank, they did parties, and they drugged, and, the Kerry and David and Mike and
Hmm.
Kevin, and they all did.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
you can't deny the fact that they're a bunch of good looking party boys.
yeah, it's not going
You
to be
know?
picture perfect kind of thing because they're going to show you what they did, and that's what the movie was about. And it was the wrestling techniques and what they did, and it was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't supposed to hit that hard on the concrete floor, and they,
Yeah.
things like that. And yeah, back
Jimmy
then they didn't
Thunder
have.
wants to know,
Mhm.
Angelo, did you ever have interaction with any of the Von Erichs? Unfortunately I did not, because they were in Texas and I was in Philadelphia during their heyday. They did on a couple of occasions, however. make their way to Baltimore. That's as close as they've gotten to this area was Baltimore, Maryland. And I believe the only reason they got into Baltimore was because Fritz von Erich knew somebody on the the Maryland Athletic Commission, I believe. Amelia, I am going to hit the commercials. I got a couple of. I got to do a couple of spots here, and then we'll do this right when we come back, folks. Here we go.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When it comes to disasters and emergencies, it's not a matter of if, but when.
I'm relying on luck, but who knows if it'll be on my side.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Take control at ready.gov/older-adults.
We are back with What's the Buzz, America's Best Podcast, and on the record with tonight, the Pitbull and the MadDog. Bitching because we can.
Yes.
And
because
really
we want to.
When last I left off, I believe Jimmy Thunder was saying, so Fritz said to Jerry Jarrett when he was selling Jerry's company that his sons were all drunk. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And that's why Jerry Jarrett did not buy WCCW. But little people know, this is true, Jerry Jarrett did have a piece of it. He wasn't the full owner, but he had a piece of WCCW. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, though, Jerry stayed in the Tennessee area primarily. Right. He did venture out into like Kentucky, Ohio, where, you know, his territory was a wide territory.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe Jerry Lawler ended up buying a territory from Jerry Jarrett, and Bill Dundee became his partner in that territory. I believe that was called Mid-South Championship Wrestling from Memphis.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, from Memphis.
Anybody wants to correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I think that might be the case.
I know Jerry Lawler was from Memphis, so yeah, that's would have been correct, I believe. And
thank you for your approval.
And I didn't really get to see the Von Erichs in person, but I did see Gino a lot, and of course Tully Blanchard. I saw him a lot, and
yeah, we know how many times you're going to bore me with that story.
And then I remember when the WWE came to town, so we got to see a live actual show of that when I was younger, and that's when that wrestling was wrestling. And
ladies and gentlemen, if there's anybody out there who owns a piece of Gino Hernandez memorabilia or a Gino doll or a Gino action figure, would you please contact the show and let me know? I want to buy it for Pitbull Chapman so she'll shut up with the Gino already, because she's making me crazy with this.
You're funny.
The guy has been gone for nearly 40 years, God rest his soul. Mm-hmm. Young, good-looking guy, full of charisma, but he was a cokehead, and he liked the party, and he liked to smoke that wacky tobacco when it was illegal.
Yeah.
Now everybody's smoking wacky tobacco. Maybe that's why the world's in the shape it is. They're all smoking Well,
You know,
fucking high.
isn't that the sad part though, that a lot of wrestlers have died by the age of 29?
Yeah, well, who did it to them?
Yeah, wrestling
Who did it to them?
themselves.
Thank you.
But that's the sad
Thank you
part.
very much for look. It's honest.
Yeah.
That's what they did to themselves. Look,
Yeah.
I understand. I can make the argument. All right, here you go. You're gonna.
They party too hard.
I'm gonna put my promoter hat on. All right.
Mhm.
As a promoter, if I know that I got a top selling guy that's got a product, I mean that he's got a problem.
Right.
I mean, that he's got a problem. I'm going to, as a promoter, again, I'm putting my promoter hat on.
Mhm.
As a promoter, I'm going to do everything in my power without interfering in his life. I'm going to do everything in my power to try and help him, to try and get him off whatever issue he's got. Maybe I'll pay for somebody to take care of him. I'll pay for some counseling. I might have him come over my house and stay with me so I could keep an eye on him.
Right.
The one thing I'm not going to do, especially if he's a money maker, what I'm not going to do is fire him.
Right.
Because I fire him, two things are going to happen. I just lost my meal ticket, and number two, somebody else might pick him up.
Exactly.
Okay. On the other hand, if you're a guy like Gino and you know you're good, and you got that kind of ego that says, I know what I'm worth, that can be a danger to you because you think you can get away with shit that you can't.
Exactly.
Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Guys who think that they can drink and drink and drink just because, I can handle my alcohol. Well, at some point, even, the toughest of us get drunk.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't care how much muscle mass you got that's going to absorb that alcohol. You're going to get drunk.
Yes.
At some point, you're going to fall over drunk and you ain't going to get up.
No.
So I understand both sides of it. I get it. But with a guy like Gino, Gino's worst enemy was Gino.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
He loved to party. That was his problem.
The other problem is, and I'm going to go there, Gino thought he could get away with shit because of who his father was. I believe Gino's real father was Paul Bosch, the promoter in Houston. That's what I believe.
A lot of people have said
and
that.
There's strong evidence to support it, including Bruce Pritchard, who says emphatically Paul Bosch was Gino's father and never backed down from it.
Right.
He's never backed down from saying that that Paul was Gino's dad.
Right.
Yes, and while we're at it, rest in peace, Jerry Jarrett. We lost Jerry Jarrett last year. Jeff Jarrett's father. Yes. He was an amazing promoter in Tennessee. He did a lot of stuff, though, not just Tennessee. Jerry Jarrett was national. He was one of the first multi-millionaires in wrestling. He might have been a millionaire before Vince McMahon Sr. was, as a matter of fact. And I believe that's the case, to be honest with you, because Jerry he's been around a long time, So Amelia, we got this show, Wrestling with the Future. It was Ring the Bell. I had to pull rank on you because of stuff I had no control over.
Yeah, it's all Vince McMahon, the asshole's fault. I'm gonna say it.
Go ahead.
It is. It's his fault. And the organization WWE, it's all their fault too. So fuck you. There, I said it. Yeah, I'm pissed.
Okay, then. You can tell Amelia's in love tonight.
No, it's just been a long day, and then I'm pissed off because guest canceled that said that she did this and that, and
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, look, you know what? You and I can do an hour standing on our head, okay? We don't need that.
But you know what?
Oh,
We
yeah, and
got
Jimmy
the
Thunder points out that Jeff Jarrett was going to take over WWE if Vince had gone to jail during the steroid scandal, and that's true.
Mhm.
I've heard it not only from Jerry Jarrett, but I also heard it from Vince McMahon
yes.
himself.
Yeah.
If Vince said in an interview, if I had gone to jail, excuse me, I got a little hiccup, that if I had gone to jail, my successor would have been Jerry Jarrett.
Yes.
So, and now all of a sudden, never happened on the air before, but I got a case of the hiccups.
Oh no. And I know that back in the
I'm very
day,
good at I'm very good at getting rid of them. So
and
they're
I know
already
that
gone.
back in the day,
Already gone.
McMahon's
Um,
senior, I know that
yeah.
all they needed was a handshake. They didn't need all of this crap that's going on.
Oh no,
A handshake
everything was
was it.
done on a handshake. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
hmm
It was all done on a handshake.
Yeah.
All their business dealings was done old school.
Yes.
Old school, which was, I give you my word. My word is
was
my
it.
bond.
Exactly.
That's all. Who needed anything else?
No.
Nobody needed anything. Well, what else do you need besides a man's word? Good
Exactly.
enough for me. Okay. And that's how Vince Sr. did business. Then his son came in and turned wrestling on its ear, because then it
And
stopped being
screwed
wrestling.
it up.
Yeah, royally screwed it up. And on one hand,
Yeah.
well, he didn't totally screw it up. On one hand, he made wrestling a global phenomenon,
Yes.
but he did so by taking the wrestling element out of it and replacing it with entertainment. Because I mean, World Wrestling Federation is very different than World Wrestling Entertainment. Well, if you're telling people it's entertainment, then they've already lost the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
It no longer exists. Well, then you're already telling them, hey, gang, the cat's out of the bag. What you're watching is not real. It's fake.
Yes, exactly.
And it's so fake that it's entertainment.
Exactly. It's like what happened to the wrestling. I mean, yeah, you can still be entertained by watching a wrestling match, but make it a wrestling match. Of course, you're going to be entertained because you get to interact. And we were watching the Iron Claw, and my son was like looking, and he's like, Mom, but look at that. It's just ropes right there with the people instead of these big old barriers. I says, yeah, that's how it was back in the day.
That's how it was
Wrestling was wrestling.
Absolutely. Sure.
We could have the ropes, but we knew to stay behind the ropes because you're supposed to be. Think about it. It's
Yeah.
and
Well, good night, Jimmy. Jimmy he's got to go. He is in New Zealand.
Good night,
and it's a
Jimmy.
different time there. He's probably getting ready for work.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about that time to get up, go to work
Yeah.
in New Zealand.
It's like the next day over there.
Yeah, it's the next day over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, New Zealand, Australia, they're already tomorrow. Well, Amelia, we got 10 minutes left. Why don't we tell everybody what's coming up?
Yeah, you're going to be doing a show tomorrow that's going to be very interesting and intriguing.
I am. Tell me about it.
You're going to be doing the Gangster Code. It's called. Actually, that's what you named it, with Louis Ferranti.
Inside the Gangster Code with Louis Ferranti. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be an interesting show. I've never had Louis on the show.
Mm-hmm.
This should be my first time with Louis on the show. He seems like a really interesting guy in that he worked for John Gotti. It's part of the Gambino crime family in New York. And he worked with people like Sammy the Bull and some other notable names that we'll say for you for tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
But but he's a really interesting guy. He's got a lot of stories to tell. So many stories that they filled up a TV show and 2 books.
And I know this is probably not just going to be just one show with him. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a part 2, maybe a part 3 with him.
There's going to be at least a part 2 because it's already booked.
Yeah.
And very likely a part 3 because we're going to have him back to talk about the Kennedy assassination and what really happened to Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yes.
I really am. I'm looking forward to doing them shows because I want to find out if I'm right about Hoffa.
Yeah.
I think Hoffa never got out of the car. I think they took him and the car together, took it to a junkyard, and had it smashed.
Yeah, would be likely because they can never find where his body was. And
Mike Murphy's got an interesting thought. He thinks that they killed Jimmy Hoffa and took him right up to the crematorium right up the street from the restaurant where he was.
Oh boy.
10 minutes from the restaurant where Jimmy Hoffa was found missing, there was a crematorium and a funeral home.
Yeah, and that's when they could have paid off the funeral
That's exactly what they say.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's an interesting one too.
They have one body unaccounted for in that day that had no certification.
So they could have. That's interesting.
Interesting stuff. Well, listen.
Yep.
Oh, well, go ahead. I'm
sorry. And then Wednesday night, instead of Wednesday night Ring the Bell, it's going to be Wrestling with the Future. But Angel's the host, and I'll be the co-host.
Well, who said that? I just said Wrestling with the Future was coming back. I didn't say I was hosting this thing.
Well, either one of us will be the host.
You wanted to do the wrestling show. It's your wrestling show.
Okay,
Wrestling with the Future.
Wrestling with the Future. And we're going to be talking
Pitbull
about Chris Benoit again. We're going to be talking about that because there's more.
We are going to put a button on that one. We are going to put an exclamation point on that one. Yeah. We're going to put a final episode on that one. And we will not do Chris Benoit until something very earth-shattering comes up that we can talk about.
Right, because there might be more develops later on. We never know.
Look, things have been popping up in this case for 18 years now.
Can you believe that?
He's been gone. Think about it.
18 years he's been gone.
18 years ago. That's a long time.
Yeah.
All right. That's a long time ago.
And we're still talking about that.
Talking about it. Yeah. Crazy. We're still talking about it. All right. So listen. Tomorrow night with Inside the Gangsters Code with Lou Ferranti. We want everyone to join us, listen in, view us on YouTube. By the way, check this out. The YouTube channel. You can subscribe each and every month for $2.99 a month. You'll get access to stuff that you don't see on the show here.
Right.
You'll get other video clips that no one has seen. Private stuff that Amelia and I talk about on the show with Armageddon, Mike Murphy. You'll get to hear all of the stuff that we talk about before we go on the air.
Yes.
And that's either going to make you want more or turn it off.
It's like, oh my God, what do these people talk about? Why?
Nah, it's good stuff. Good.
Nah, feel like that.
Yeah, it's all good. That's all good. So check that out and join us on Facebook at facebook.com.
Yes.
/What's the Buzz Radio. And just so you know, the YouTube channel is youtube.com / What's the Buzz Popcast. There you go. How about that? So for Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman, I'm Angelo, MadDog DeCipio. Till we see you tomorrow night, be good to everybody. God bless, and remember, stay professional.
Good night.
Good night, folks. Bye-bye.